All right. Again, I'm back, and we are in. I'm just randomly, being led to look at certain things here. So we're in Colossians 13, 1 and 13. Um, and it's saying something about like give thanks to the Father, right? Who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of the saints in light. Okay. So again, like this brought me to the energy of like thinking about a living God, right? Excuse me. Like even the whole energy of he's coming in the clouds, right? I know it just gives me energy of just like even streaming, right? Or streams. And so it says here in 13, it says, he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of his beloved son, or descendant, because son means descendant. Okay. So again, I feel like this is talking about that. I, right? Again, right? And then also to use, again, that I feel like to use that Christ energy to bring it to light, right? So it's almost like a shadow energy. It's almost like at some points in the biblical text, I feel like it's talking about like an unseen energy, right? But some will see, right? So, or one, I guess the son would see the father, the descendant. Right? So yeah, and actually this made me think about the whole thing at the border or the southern border, because even whenever I get, wind of southern border, it also makes me think about, again, that lower portion of the caste or class system, which this is also making me think about a sense of, again, you notice how it's like the people were under the bridge, right? So that energy also makes me think about like that bridge, that gap, right, in the caste system between the underworld, commoners, peasants, and and the Dalit people, right? So that's that border, that's something that's in between, right? So again, how we were saying that there's no sense of needing that anymore. Like even when we just looked at the video earlier, when it comes to the ancient Egypt, that pyramid, all of the people were above that border. It was just that body, and the head was the pharaoh, right? So again, when it comes to this system, and then if you look at the dollar bill, "In God We Trust," right, you'll see that cornerstone or whatever is lifted. It has an eye and a light behind it, and it's separate from the portion where the landowners and merchants and things like that. So again, the whole walking on water, because all those energies right there in the middle of that caste system represent the water, maritime energy. Okay. So that's the key, or that's the kind of thing I feel like to it. All the way down to the commoners, peasants, and servants that are the ones that are. So when we're talking about heaven is my abode and earth is my footstool, right? The physical, worldly realm is going to depict it one way. Religion is going to depict it another way. But I feel like we're talking about a sense of something, a sense of knowing, or something that has to do with something that's within you, the corona or the crown, right? So again, brought us out of darkness, right, and into the kingdom. So again, a low vibrational energy, right? To bring you out of that lower vibrational energy. That again, I feel like we go up and down. Once you hit that top, do you stay, right? Or again, can you continue to fall again, right? And then it feels like you go up and down until you sense that that's where you want to be. And then you remain in that level. So again, whether we're talking about entrepreneurs that are like going, in right now and getting things done, whether you're talking about the priests and the academics, people that are teaching, the police, right? That energy. And then, like I said, the commoners, peasants, and servants, which are the common, you know, people, okay, which is the bulk of the power behind any nation. And it's usually a melting pot. Well, in America, it seems to be a melting pot because it's just about the people, and there's many different groups of people here more than anywhere else, a mixture, right? So again, that's the bulk, that's the power of the, you know. So the reigns also represent that sense of control, because if you let some of these individuals that are in these lower realms, you know, advance too much, then you know that could be dangerous for the construct or establishment, right? Especially if they've been brought out of darkness and out of a victimizing kind of thing where it's just like everybody else and not us, right? That's everybody else is at fault and not the actual people waking up and realizing what's going on, what part we all play. And so, again, raising the debt ceiling also, even though it may not have anything to do with it, also reminds me of just us saying, let's raise that bar and put everybody on, at least when it comes to commoners, peasants, and servants, the common area people, and those that are supposedly below them as misnomers, to break that and let that not even exist anymore. Nobody should be down in that pit anymore. So that's what was my question back when we were talking about the infrastructure. What does it all mean? Is it going to benefit everybody, or is it going to be something that's going to try to keep, it may remove that border, right? Or that line, right? That silver lining, but especially when I'm talking about the people that are of that old nature, of that old spirit, those people of the old bloodlines and the old families, of the old world and on into the new. Because some of them should have never been down in that section at all. And that's why that's why God was gonna bring his son or his descendant up out of the mud and bring him to the top to a certain extent. It may be physical and mental, or you know what I'm saying? So again, it's kind of like that started at the bottom energy. And it's like, ta-da, we're here. And again, that scares, again, those powers, some of the powers that shouldn't be. Because if that scares you, right, then you shouldn't be in that position of power. So it says, all right. So again, in my instance, I feel like there's no other way to explain this, especially up until now, is that there is a energy of Jesus or Yeshua that is what helped me see. So again, this is about the thanksgiving prayer, or giving thanks to the Father, right? Who has qualified you to share the inheritance of the saints in the light. He has rescued us from the dominion. So that's like a dominant, kind of like, it's a dominating or bringing you into a different type of dominion, right? Instead of being under the reins. Again, some of us have them in our hands. So rescued us from the dominion of darkness. So I think that's the Sheol, or the underworld, or Dalit, or untouchable energy when it comes to the cast. And brought us into the kingdom of his beloved son, or his beloved descendant, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. Okay? All right. So it says he has rescued us from the dominion of dark. Okay, we already read that part. That's why I don't like when I do this thing, because it, okay. Let's see. The Son is the image of the invisible God. This descendant is the image of the invisible God. So if there's an invisible God, or there's God in you, or if there's God in me, it would be because that's one of my father's forefathers or forebearers. Because before and for, those things usually mean something that was in front of or before. So taking the image or the face of something means that someone, it can be something that is positive, or it can be something that is negative. I'm seeing it in a positive light, but then now I'm starting to see it in a negative light, because sometimes it was, again, for someone to do a certain works, and possibly for someone to move on, right? To pass on into something else, right? And then someone else would take in their image, right? And sometimes it's idol worship, where people were against like that Christ energy and wanted to harm or crucify and do all these things, and then again place another image there that you have been following for a very long time that's not the actual image. Because really all of this is more about energy than anything. So it says the image of the invisible God. So again, even how we talk about Hathor, and we talk about, and we talk about all that other stuff when we're talking about the eye of Horus and all this other energy, right? That God would be using possibly a vassal, a holy vassal, to inhabit. So maybe the cloak, or them hanging something over it or blocking that energy today, would represent them cloaking, for whatever reason, you can use your own discernment, the true essence. Is it to have better control over it, or what? Or her, or him? Okay, so it says the firstborn over all creation. So it does matter that there's some recognition to the fact that there were people here on this plane, and they are actually also people of maritime families that have royal or certain connections to heredity, right? And there are people that are going to be trying to assume the position of those particular people for whatever reason, I don't know. So again, the firstborn over all creation, that means that something that is created is a creation. It's just something that has been created. But again, when we go back to Genesis 1, the earth was first a chaotic mass. That dark matter, chaos, right? It was already there. And when we're talking about that First Nations and First Groups, it matters. So to hide the fact that there were people here that look like me matters. It doesn't mean that we're saying anybody is better than anyone. It is just saying that we need to be aware of our story here in the Americas. Because that's where the sun is going to come from. And I mean the whole continent. I'm talking about from Canada all the way down to the islands. Those 7, like I said, stars, I think represent, I think it was in the right hand, represent, again, that particular crown, I feel. And again, bloodlines of all of the 7 so-called nations. So that's why, again, you would be having a DNA of those particular people. And the reason why he can, the reason why this God would be able to connect to this energy is because it is of him. The sun would be of him. That Christ energy, that divine feminine energy would be of him. So we're talking old gods in a sense. So this is Colossians 1:15, the supremacy of Christ, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins, The Son is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For in him, right, all things were created. Again, I'm pretty sure we can find, here, hand me that black book right there, that Bible. Here, hurry up, please. Don't let nothing fall out of it. Come on now. Because definitely in the Apocalypse in this Bible, it says something about her. So I'm telling you, this is a connection. I don't know why this card keeps sticking out to me. So again, this is, matter of fact, this is why. We were just reading that earlier, and I noticed that this was sticking out. This card, I had it sitting in there. The storm. Every hurricane comes to an end. So again, the second death, right? They're trying to kill. I can see they're trying to assassinate the character of certain individuals right now. So somebody's gotten upset. Somebody's mad about something. Okay. Oh, here's the other card that's in here. These cards don't be playing. The witch, because again, this is how we're going to vilify the image of this woman, right? That may be connected to Christ and to God, right? Just like all the women, you know, like I said, that have been blinded and bound and things like that, and had to deal with certain things when it comes to male energy, when it comes to the spiritual realm and the physical, right? The unjust energy that comes with it when they don't when they don't want to see that coming, right? So then again, we just lock them up or we burn them. They would in the past. But anyway, today that burning would be to crucify someone in public, or to leak information or share images of them that they would not know, you know what I'm saying? Would rather not be seen by people. But in order to keep you in control, it's kind of like, we have something, and if you keep it up, then we'll do this, and then that gets done. But again, I guess I'm glad it's out of my sight, but don't think that I don't know that it's going on. Justice is coming. See, she got her sword in there. Look like her hand, and the bat, right? But look like she about to go grab that sword. Right? Because she's going to have to try to, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like. It's going to have to be to a point where somebody, the head of something is going to be chopped off. And I think this time it's not going to be hers. All right? So let's see. What is this? Colossians. Let's see. Oh, where is it? Come on now. Oh, here it is. 360. Oh, maybe it's in. Oh, yeah, it's not going to be in that one. It's going to be in the New Testament. I hope everybody is doing all right today. Let's see. Let's keep on moving. 350, 60. Okay. I wanted to see. Okay, 1 and 15. All right. All right. 1 and 15. Yeah, that's where we're at. Okay. So Christ is the exact likeness of the unseen God. He existed before God. So all right? So that's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. God made anything at all before God made anything at all. And in fact, Christ himself is the creator who made everything in heaven and earth. All the things we can see and the things we can't. The spirit world with its kings and kingdoms, its rulers and authorities, all were made by Christ for his own use and glory. So again, okay. So in this instance right here in Colossians, right, and this is from Paul, chosen by God to be Jesus Christ's messenger, or angel probably, right? Or no, messenger. I look at angels as more like soldiers, right? So to be Jesus Christ. So again, Jesus Christ. That's the two together. It makes me think of divine masculine and feminine, or activation of something. Do you see what I'm saying? And from Brother Timothy, to the faithful Christian brothers, God's people in the city of Colossus. This makes me think about, like, I say a silver lining. This makes me think about the silver city. Okay, fill you with great peace. Okay, so again, this is the energy, again, direct energy of the day. This morning that I got. This is the exact energy. So, all right, let's keep moving. There's always something that finds me at a loss for words. Okay, so again, in the likeness, right? So it's going to be, this person going to be like, right? But I do have to say here, okay, that in this energy right here, when we're talking about like a recreation, it's giving me like a recreation kind of energy, as if something like someone came and brushed something off, right? Dusted off something and find out that it was a gem, right? So again, it makes me think about an altered state, right? Or an alteration, an altar being done, right? I mean, it gives me that energy. And then again, we'll go here to 15. That was the Living Bible. And we'll go to 15 in the King James on here. And it said, who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature. See what I'm saying? So even someone that will be birthed into something, maybe a calling or something, to bring something forward. And it's so funny that we're talking about the caste system and the class, which rubbed people the wrong way, I think, today, but it had to get out of the way. It had to be said, right? So if people got to their emotions, I can tell people were very emotional. I could see the emotions running rampant even on people in certain positions. I can see it because I think they're misunderstanding and they're doing exactly what I was just talking about, dealing with emotions, not the facts, right? So it says first born of every creature. Okay, so again, there is an energy of first. That is why it's called earth. In your concordance, earth is talking about people. These people were here before the Native Americans. And they are the creation. The DNA of these people were used to make many subgroups and races of people here on this plane. And others. So-called slavery was more about breeding than anything. The people were already doing the work here. There were already kingdoms here and empires. They're already growing corn and everything, like in multitudes. Millions and millions of people were already here prior to anyone stepping foot on the soil. That's the thing of being that of maritime, of the sea, and the earth. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominion or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. But wisdom was there. The Ruach was there. The Holy Spirit was there. She is the one that been here on the plane the whole time, living different lives over and over again. And he is the head of the body, the church, the group, the community, right? I added the group community, right? Nation, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead. So that's the whole rising again. That in all things, and I think that this is also a physical aspect, and I think it has to do with another aspect as well. When it comes to a masculine energy, a consort or counterpart, or again, just someone that's connected because they are sons or they are descendants, right? In all things, he might have the preeminence, for it pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell. And having made peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him, I say, whether they be things in earth or things in heaven. So again, of the physical or of the body of, again, is what I'm getting here, or things in the heaven, in the mind. Right? So again, some of these things, you know, are revealed telepathically or through different type of force of energy. Right? So again, that's why, again, there's going to be someone that's going to put their throne and try to exalt it at the same way, but they're going to, and I feel like in this energy today, in 2021, that is the other altar, idolic energy that is taking that information on holy ones and using it for strife. The other energy is to help lead the way, to guide for other oracle seers, you know, Gnostics and different energy like that, to be kind of like in tune with each other. So that's why, like, it's going to be like where things are not going to be revealed, right? But again, it would be amongst those body or those people that share that, right? But then again, like I said, when it comes to when it's natural, right? But when it comes to man, it may get into the wrong hands, and they may be using different tools and weapons and tools to obtain this information, and then in turn use it on the holy ones to defile their image or crucify them. If things are not going their way, to put anchors on their legs and things, quicksand at their feet, so that they fall. But only God can judge and knows your heart. People that are not connected to this energy are going to be frustrated, and they're not going to understand. People that didn't do the work, but they did work on other things, they're not going to be able to see, they're not going to understand. And they're going to try to get rid of anything in their way that does. And consider it to be a weapon of mass destruction or a, domestic terrorist energy. So yeah, let's read that one more time. For in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. So this is why maybe some of you have that same energy. Who are you to think that some of the things that these people think, or to think they're going to get away with these things, or to think, that you should not be able to do certain things. All things were created through him, for him, right? So let's look at this, okay? Let's look at he. Because at first it was he in the other Bible. And we'll go to the fact that it's saying here, this here, the root, third person, the feminine, okay, hio, was replaced in early Middle English. So the Bible was written in Old English, right? But for some reason, the feminine aspect was taken out of he in the Middle English. So I think it's Old English and then Middle English. This is to confuse people so they would not see them, him, her, or she, he coming. Forms from other stems. See, she, modern it. Old English, the paradigm in Old English was masculine singular, he, hein, his, genitive, him, dative, feminine singular, hio, he, hi, higher. Okay? That's what it says here. Then you have your related terms, and she is down here. So let's go ahead and look at she really quick. All right. So it says mid-12th century, probably evolving Old English. Co. So, this, that, see, thee. Okay. She was, however, pronounced in 13th century of this hand phonetic elevation with he. Okay. Have converged by phonetic elevation with he. So it was converged, okay? Which apparently led to the fem. Okay? The original H survives in her. Greek he. She as a noun meaning female. Okay, 1530s. Okay? All right, so we've done he and we've done her. Now let's look at his and see if it has something to do with feminine energy. Right? But it is failed to stick. Wait, compared to, let's see, replaced in that sense in 16th century. Okay. 16th century commonly used in a place of genitive inflection after nouns whose nominative end in s. For example, when this book became the particular book that is when Moses, his book was divided into 5 parts, I cannot trace. Exodus, he, it is perhaps an expanded vocalization from the originally something, right? So again, it also says genitive of he, okay? And it says, again, see her. So you're going to go right back to her. So again, there is a feminine energy to the energy. So again, since we know that men cannot have children, still yet in 2020, then again, that someone had to have these children. Someone had to be first, right? And then that fruit that came from that energy, right, would go on to be the son of it and also possibly come back and be a savior to it or her. But could possibly take the face of that energy after it has been dismantled or disposed of. So again, if you keep that energy under wraps, then the children will go on to think this again the wrong way when it has to do with a feminine energy. God is of a feminine energy. It is man that alters that energy. Even when it comes to the jungle and the Amazonian women. They didn't keep the men around. But they kept the children. Even within some of the tribes, they would impregnate the women after the men were killed off or taken hostage or into slavery or servitude. I'm sorry, I don't want to, right? And then impregnate the women. And then after about 7 years or some amount of years, they would come in and remove the children. This is why it's important to know our history here in the Americas. That includes the dark-skinned Indians that were here in the Americas, all over the whole Americas prior to 1492. Or 1421, or all of it. And we just happen to be the descendants of those old gods of the old world. They would be considered holy calves when it went to the women. When it comes to the women, they would be holy cows or holy calves or mothers. But since we have been so desensitized to looking at women, especially so-called black women in America, a certain way, no one will want to see that because of other reasons and agendas. It's just what it is. And we can either take it or leave it. And many will not understand. They will not understand. The gate is narrow. So, it's funny we're talking Exodus too here. Because it's almost like that energy is going to exit out. And then, again, is this where the masculine energy takes over that image of the woman, the holy woman, that holy Christ energy? And then be the face of it. So, I'll see you guys later. Take care.